What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and we are back talking about your teams and if I think they are contenders this season. We did one before the season started, and here we are back near the All-Star break, and we're here to do it again. I'm gonna go over the teams I went through in the first video very quickly, and then get to some other teams just for this video. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Alright, so we're gonna speed round these teams that I did earlier in the year. The 76ers, there's not much to say. I've spoken on the 76ers ad nauseum this season, and they are just not good. Paul George finessed his way into a $1 million maximum contract with the 76ers all the way until he's 37, and he's already showing signs of declining, talking about how his body just doesn't feel good and he can't perform. He just had 2 points last night, so it's not a very good look for Paul George. It's just not. As far as Joel Embiid goes, I felt like I'm on the record saying that I don't think his body's gonna hold up, and it hasn't been. He's pretty much playing on a knee that he knows he's gonna have to get surgery for at some point. He's playing on one leg right now. He's usually playing on one leg, and when he's not, we're just waiting for one of his legs to blow out. Unfortunately, I don't like saying that about players. I wouldn't wish injury on anybody, but it's very obvious that the 76ers are just cooked with the core that they have. This is purgatory for fans, for sure. The T-Wolves, I didn't think they were gonna be contenders to start off the season, and they look a lot worse than I thought they would, to be honest. Even with Ant Edwards playing some great hoops, he just had 3 40-point games back to back, and I think they won one of them, one if not two. I know they lost one for sure, but yeah, T-Wolves, they're just not contenders. I didn't think they would be. The Cavs are a little interesting because the Cavaliers are very good. They're very good. I do still agree with the opinion that I had, which is that they're a small team. They have glaring holes in their roster. They did fill a hole though. They got DeAndre Hunter, who can give you 20 points a night. He's a very good wing defensive player, and it's going to make it a lot harder to switch off of Mobley and Allen and get on to Garland and get on to Mitch, because that's what the Celtics will try to do, and the goal here for them is to beat the Celtics. If they can beat the C's, they can beat any team in the East and make it to the finals. So I will say that they're contenders because I do believe in them a little bit more than I believe in the Knicks right now, even though I think that series would still be very close. I do think Cleveland still has their issues. I don't think that backcourt defensively will stick, especially when you're playing a team that can guard those players. They have 4 players that can guard those guys, talking about the Celtics again. But yeah, I'll say that they're contenders. I think that's really their competition right now, and we'll see how that goes in the playoffs. They've had a couple really good regular season games. For Denver, I really think the West is very wide open for teams in this caliber. I think Denver's been better than I thought they would be going into the season, and obviously that is a lot due to Jokic having a crazy season this year, very reminiscent of what Luka did last year for his team. And the addition of Russell Westbrook, honestly a lot better than I thought it was going to be as well. I'm thoroughly impressed with Russell Westbrook, and I love how he's playing. You know, it's nice to see Westbrook hooping. It just is. So that's it for all the old teams. Oh, did I say if the Nuggets are contenders? Yeah, I'll say that the Nuggets are contenders. I think they can beat any team in the league right now. I don't think they're like heavy favorites or anything like that, like going above and beyond, but I think they can hang and beat almost every team in the NBA. So I'll say that they're contenders. The Lakers, they're playing good basketball. They haven't played with Anthony Davis in a very long time. He was hurt for a while, so they were going a decent amount of time with no AD, and they won a lot of those games. They're currently, though, they're not streaking anymore. They just lost to the Jazz. But their win total since January is really good. Like, this has been a great team since the start of the new year. And their offense just looks amazing. A lot better than the Lakers' offense has looked in years. Honestly, that's been their biggest fault. And the shooting has looked really good recently. The ball movement has looked really good recently. And I credit a lot of that to JJ Redick and his offensive schemes. LeBron himself has looked really good recently. And they're doing all of this without Luka. Luka came back for the past 2 games. That was not Luka, bro. He's still trying to get back into rhythm, trying to adjust to his new situation. He hasn't done anything for that team as of yet. He had a 14-point game and a 16-point game. He played very horrible in both games. A lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots. Yeah, we really haven't seen Luka and Bron play for real yet. So obviously still waiting for that. But when that happens, they're gonna look scary. They're going to look very scary. Obviously, the big downside of the Lakers is their center position. They got Jackson Hayes and Alex Len, and Alex Len does not look like an NBA caliber big man anymore. He just doesn't. Watching him play against the Jazz, maybe it was just first game here, but he looked really, really bad. He's getting dunked on. He's getting laid left and right. He can't put the ball in the basket when he's 2 feet away, so it just did not look too hot in that first night. But I think as time goes on, that's going to be a tough offense to deal with, and all their big men have to do is be serviceable. If you can somewhat guard the rim and you can be a lob threat, you should be decent on this team. Oh, and Austin Reeves as your third option. Austin Reeves looks like a legit third option on a championship roster. I think Austin Reeves really could be the X factor on this team. And yeah, I think offensively they should be able to hang with almost any team in the NBA. I think the Lakers could be like a dark horse team. And I think they're going to fly under the radar, but I'm going to say that they're contenders. The Dallas Mavericks. Oh, hold up. I got to show you what I got. Yes, sir. Got the Mavs jersey. Thanks, man. Had to cop a 77 jersey because they traded my goatee away, man. W gift. It's time for me to get depressed again. Here we go. So the Mavericks have been injured throughout this. Hold up. I gotta hold up. I gotta try to, you feel me? You feel me? So you can see the Mavs. Right. So the Mavericks have been injured this whole season, right? PJ, in and out. He's had a lot of injuries. Kyrie, in and out. Klay Thompson has been in and out a lot. Najee Marshall has gotten sick every other week. It's been really, really bad. I don't know what he caught, but he keeps getting sick over and over and over and over again. So we've had no consistency the entire season. None. This is one of the best defensive rosters in the NBA if healthy, like very clearly. We saw that in the half that they played with Anthony Davis. Like it just wasn't easy to get into that paint and score. You have two legitimate rim protecting threats there. AD playing weak side at the power forward is very lethal, and then Gaff by himself, and you already know when D Live comes back, it's just a lot. PJ, Najee, there's just Max Christie now. There's a lot of defensive guys. And yeah, it's a deep roster as well. If the roster was healthy, then I think things would be going smoothly. I think things would have gone smoothly the entire season. Even with Luka on the team, we were like a top 2, top 3, statistically top 2, top 3 team in the NBA when they all played. So yeah, they could definitely beat any team in the league if they're healthy. I can also see them losing to many teams in the league, even if they are healthy. To be honest, there's no world, I feel like, where this team is 100% healthy this season. And being that we're already behind the 8 ball, we're in the play-in right now. This is a very tough Western Conference. We do have one of the easier schedules to end out the year, but if the health continues on the track that it's on and we can't get guys to keep playing consistently, we're probably not going to end up being where we want to be. Getting to the playoffs right now is the goal, and that should not be the goal. The goal should be getting our seating in the right spot, and the goal right now is trying to get a solidified spot, and I'm not a huge fan, but hey, that's just where we are. Honestly, this team is also missing like a playmaking aspect. Like Kyrie is the main ball handler, and then you got Spencer Dinwiddie, and Spencer Dinwiddie is either Kyrie or he's Spencer Dinwiddie, and you know, twice a week he'll decide to be Kyrie Irving, and for the rest of the time we get Spencer Dinwiddie. So I feel like no disrespect to Spencer Dinwiddie, obviously I'm just saying like he's very inconsistent with his play. He'll drop a 30 ball and then he'll come back and he'll give you like 8 or 12. Sometimes not even that, and the shot's just not there, and the playmaking's just not there, and he looks like a completely different player. So I think the playmaking on the team is lacking a little bit. We need another ball handler, and you saw that in the clutch. You're doubling up Kyrie at the top of the key and making somebody else do something with the ball, and that's not a problem that you would have if you had another ball handler slash immediate scorer, right? They're kind of daring you to put the ball in other people's hands, and not that we don't have capable guys, but it will be an issue in the playoffs for sure. I don't think they're contenders, especially being behind the 8 ball, being super injured the whole year. I just don't know if that's gonna be in the cards this season. So this next team is the Sacramento Kings. They're not contenders. I'm not even gonna make y'all wait for the explanation. They're not contenders. The Kings are mid on all fronts. This is a mid team that was already mid, that made themselves even more mid. They have horrible defense. They don't have a number 1 guy. They just traded him away for Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is a good player, but I think we can all agree De'Aaron Fox is better than Zach LaVine. I don't even know what to say about it. You have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk. You got Domantas Sabonis. And yeah, That's all the impact players on your team. You're gonna have to have guys like Keon Ellis just come and step up and have those guys have big games every now and then. But even then, your team defensively is horrible. Keegan Murray is like your best defensive piece, and I'm not expecting anything out of Zach defensively. I'm not expecting much out of DeMar or Sabonis defensively. So it's not a great look. The Kings are mid-team. They'll probably make the play-in, and that's as far as I see them going. So yeah, that's all I got for the Kings. The Spurs, very interesting situation, because I actually think the Spurs are good enough. If the Spurs would have been this team from day one, I think their seeding would look completely different. I think the aspect that De'Aaron Fox brought to this team without them losing any of their key players is crazy. The same ball handling, scoring that I'm talking about that you need for the Mavericks, De'Aaron Fox is over here adding an ability of shot creating for this team that they just did not have before. They simply did not have it. You see De'Aaron Fox pulling out all the moves, pulling out all the stops, pull a mid-range jump shot. He can get to his own shot. He can get other guys' shots, and that's not something that they had. So adding this extra aspect on top of a guy like Wemby who can do all of that, and now you have De'Aaron Fox taking some of the pressure off of him, this looks like a completely different team. If they can keep up being a really good defensive team and De'Aaron Fox can raise them to an offensive level where they're really competing like that, the sky is the limit for this team, honestly. They have a lot of young players. Stephen Castle, his jump shot has become a lot better since the season began. He was around 20%. Now he's in the 30s, around like 35, 36 for the month of February. You already got Champagny, great shooter. You got Chris Paul being a big leader in that locker room, and I just feel like this team, the way it's constructed, they could be contenders. But this season, you're 23 and 29 already. I just don't see you having that large of a turnaround. I could see you getting into the playoffs and maybe doing some damage in the playoffs, but I think next year would be the year for the Spurs to really be contenders. But this roster is really, really good. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you disagree with some of my takes, you think that I'm chatting and the Mavs are contenders immediately, and I'm just sad because my favorite player left the team, you can put that in the comment section down below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.